Welcome back to the Sysadmin Lab. In today's video, I'll show you step-by-step how to configure Active Directory in Windows Server 2022. I will also show you what necessary steps we should take while configuring our first domain controller. I also suggest you make a habit this from lab environment as a standard requirement before configuring domain controller. There are two basic things we should always change on installed Windows Server. First one is renaming the server as per our organization and lab environment. Secondly, we should always set domain controller server IP address setting to static. Should never leave settings on automatic. This way we can reserve the IP address from domain controller in our network. This will also help DNS server to respond all requests coming for domain controllers. First, let's see how we can rename server, which will be our first domain controller. There are many ways to rename any Windows server. I'll show you two ways to rename Windows server. Just click on File Explorer, then right-click on this PC. It will bring you to About page. And here we can see the button Rename this PC. Click on this. New pop-up window will open here. You can type new name for your server and click on Next. And then it will ask you to reboot the server. Second option is just go into search button and type Advanced System Settings and then click on Computer Name and click on Change button here. Now type here new name for your Windows server and click OK, and server will ask you to restart. Click on Close. Relogin on server back once the server is rebooted and online. Here we can see server name is changed. Next you will see how to change server IP address from automatic to static IP address. Right-click on here at Network Sign and select Open Network and Internet Settings. Now from left side you'll see Ethernet tab. Click on it. It will bring you to the Network Adapter Settings. Now click on Change Adapter Settings. Here you can modify the IP address going in Properties of Network Adapter. Click on TCP/IPv4, click on Properties. Here you can type new IP address for Windows Server. Another way to reach adapter settings is just go into Run and type ncpa.cpl and press Enter. It will bring to the SAM Network Adapter Settings page. Now choice is yours. Both the ways are simple. Here I am setting up IP address as per my available network. You must know your IP address range of network to ensure proper communication for this Windows Server domain controller within the network. And click on OK. From here you can add more DNS server under Advanced button. Save the settings and click on Close. You may lose the connection once after changing the IP address. Make sure you are in front of server or you have other console access of server. Like BMC in Lenovo, ILO in HP or iDRAC in Dell, if we are doing this change in production environment. Now we are ready to configure this Windows Server 2022 server as our first Active Directory domain controller. Click on Start button and then click on Server Manager. Server Manager window will be open. We can see server name, IP address and other settings. Before we move further, let's verify if we have set our server IP address to static. From the left-hand side, we do not have any role installed on this server. Some things we can check from Tools drop-down button on your right-hand side. Once we are satisfied with the basic configuration of the server, now let's begin with Active Directory Domain Services server role installation. Click on Manage and select Add Roles. Here it will show you Information Wizard. We have done all the required changes before we are configuring any role or features on this server. Please pause the video to read if you need more information. Then click on Next. At Next Wizard window, it asks about if you want to install this role on this server or any other remote available or offline virtual machine-based installation. I'll choose role-based or feature-based installation for this server and click Next. At Next window, it will ask if you want to install on listed below server or choose destination server. I'll select my current server and click on Next. Here we have to choose the Active Directory Domain Services role. It will show that it will install other features along with this role. Click on Add Features. For our first domain controller, I will suggest we should install DNS role also, so that our DNS will be Active Directory Integrated DNS. Click on Add Features for DNS and click Next. At Next Wizard windows, it shows other features to choose if needed. For this demo, we will not select any other role or features. At Next windows, here it shows information about Azure Active Directory, which are leaving as it is for this demo, and click on Next. And now here it talks about DNS functionality and information. How does DNS works? Since we already have chosen the DNS role, I'll click on Next. You can pause the video to read more details about DNS here. And finally, on this window here it showcases all summary of this installation, what all roles and features will be installed. We can also save this configuration setting. Tick on this Restart button, so that server will be reboot if needed, or we can this manually once roles installation completed. Click on Yes and click on Install button. Installation will be started now. It will take some time to complete. Once installation is completed, it will show if you want to promote this server as domain controller now. Click on this tab, or we can check the SAM from notification showing right next to Manage button. Before we promote this server as domain controller, I'll reboot this server. Once the server is back online, now is the time to configure this server as our first domain controller. Click on Server Manager. Now click on Promote this server as domain controller from this notification tab. It brings us to new wizard windows. Here it will ask to choose from these settings. Since we are deploying our first domain controller in the Forest. To read more about Forest and domain, stay tuned to my channel for upcoming videos where we will talk about domains and forests. I'll choose Add a new forest and type the domain name here. Since this is the first domain, we add here root domain name. In my case, I am using demo.local as my first root domain and then click Next. Now it will check if there is any other domain in this network with the same name and then bring you to the next windows, where we have to choose forest and domain functional level, which means until which all older available Windows Server operating system's domain controller we can function. Another important thing is to ensure we add DSRM password and save the password safely. This password will help if ever you have to restore domain controller from system state backup. Since we have installed DNS role here, so now I am leaving this to default. We will configure after Active Directory installation. Click on Next. At next window it find if we have some NetBIOS name available in our network. NetBIOS was used in earlier versions of Windows. Now we do not use NetBIOS name. If we don't have any legacy applications or Windows Server's older editions. Click on Next. Here we can change the default path for Active Directory database. Logs files and sysvol folder, which is very important folder for Active Directory replication and to save information. For this demo I'll leave this on default location and click on Next. Here it will show you the whole summary about this activity we are performing to configure. We can also save this PowerShell script for further deployments. And click on Next. Now it's checking if we meet all the prerequisites for this Active Directory role configuration. If we missed anything which is required, it won't allow us to move forward. Then click on Install button. Finally, once the installation completed, server will be rebooted automatically. Let's log in back to the server to check our first Active Directory domain controller services. It will take some time to initialize after the installation completion. Go to Server Manager and click on Tools. Here we can see now Active Directory related roles and features are installed and configured. Congratulations, you've set up your first forest and domain. Stay tuned to our channel. We will talk about further Active Directory other topics in upcoming videos. Group policies, DNS, DHCP configurations and many more. We'll learn about how to create bulk users, how we can restrict users with group policies and can control our domain environment from centralized Active Directory. Whether you are a beginner or aiming for advanced system administrator roles, you'll find plenty of practical knowledge here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss upcoming tutorials. Thanks for watching and see you in next video. Till then, stay safe.